physically active lives. To meet our students' needs, teachers need high-quality health curriculum that is based on the current standards, reflects current needs, and is culturally relevant, inclusive, medically accurate, and skills-based. We are in the midst of aligning our physical education curriculum to the new state framework released in 2020. The current K-8 PE curriculum has been revised, utilizing high-quality resources from Open, and we are in the midst of revising the high school PE curriculum. We also have teacher-developed health education curriculum that needs to align to the new state framework also released in 2020. Our current health curriculum relies on freely available resources and is the highest priority for replacement with high-quality instructional materials. The need is particularly urgent for high school students, as our current curriculum was written for half a credit, and MSDE now requires a full credit of health for graduation. The solution is curriculum adoption. We used federal grant funds from the health department to start the RFP process so we can vet and adopt new high school health curriculum. The request for proposals was developed with input from health teachers and released on January 11, 2022. The submission window is now closed, and the RFP committee is doing an in-depth review of the submitted proposals. We are using the health education curriculum analysis tool called the HECAT, which is released by the CDC. Input from the community is also being collected and will be factored into the final recommendation of the committee. That recommendation is due to the board for a vote at the April 19th board meeting. This timeline will allow us to use grant funds to purchase materials for traditional schools to use during the 2022-2023 school year. We are inviting school leaders and teachers, the health department, families, and community partners to provide input, including PCAB and CCAC. Additional student input is coming from the Youth Advisory Council, facilitated by the Baltimore City Health Department, and the Heart Smiles work group that partners with Food and Nutrition. Once high school health curriculum is purchased, high-quality instructional materials for grades K through 8 will be our greatest remaining need. We have also requested funding for K-8 health curriculum in order to conduct an RFP process, similar to what we are doing now for high school. Once curriculum is purchased, teachers and school leaders will need professional learning and support. We are planning a series of professional learning opportunities for both teachers and school leaders. We intend to introduce the new curriculum to teachers in the summer through a Jumpstart training and the New Teacher Institute. This learning will continue through the school year through systemic professional learning, the professional learning community, and webinars. Existing professional learning opportunities like Leadership Institute and school staff will also be leveraged to help school leaders support health teachers with implementation of the new curriculum. Our immediate next steps are to complete the RFP process for the high school health curriculum, continue through the budget request process for the K-8 health curriculum, and then to purchase the high school health curriculum. Now that you know where we are with the health and PE curriculum, do you have any questions for me or for Jeff?
Thank you. I do see that Commissioner Reed is here. I don't, Tanisha, are there others that I'm not seeing at this point?
No, it's just Commissioner Reed and yourself.
Okay. Commissioner Reed, did you have any questions? I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I guess one, what is HECAT, and how integral is that in terms of your relationship? You said it's government driven, but what are the biggest asks from HECAT?
All right, so HECAT has a bunch of different categories which we use to analyze health curriculum. It's kind of like the industry standard analysis tool for health curriculum in the same way that EQUIP is for science curriculum. So it looks at things like inclusivity. Is it going to meet the needs of all students? Is it medically accurate? Is it scientifically accurate as well? I'm trying to look to see if I can quick pull up a list. So I'm referencing the survey that we did to health teachers to make sure that we're using the right tools and asking the right questions when we're analyzing the curriculum, and things that they called out which align with HECAT to look at medically accurate, inclusiveness, skills-based, displays diverse backgrounds, updated annually. Those were the categories that they responded to, and those were all ranked as important to our teachers, with the highest rank going to medically accurate and inclusiveness, and updated annually being the lowest rank.
Is there any way you can incorporate that in your slides? So I guess when that comes up for your next presentation, people won't ask you that?
Certainly. Thank you.
And I guess my next question, my last one, Madam Chair, is the whole idea. You're asking for a lot of input and engagement from various stakeholders. But a probably important thing for me to know is, from your department, Dr. Dabrowski, what's your aspirational needs and deliverables from this whole process?
So, I mean, I would echo what Joshua shared about having those characteristics of what we call high quality instructional materials has to be the sort of non-negotiable in all this. We have to have that at the end of the day, and then provide our teachers with the proper supports and training in order to use those materials well to serve our students. So I think when we think about alignment to standards, I think when we hear Joshua talk about the criteria that he's outlining there about medically accurate, making sure there's a space for inclusivity, making sure that all students have ways to access those materials, I think those pieces are the sort of non-negotiable end result. And we also know that within different programs, there are different ways that vendors or publishing companies get at that work. So we have to listen to our educators, to our families, to our students to understand sort of where their needs are in this. If there's pieces around how we engage with it, what level of student interaction in groups or directed teacher, or how does technology play in, like those are the places we do need that level of stakeholder engagement. I would certainly toss to Joshua and to his team other places that you're really listening when you're thinking about those stakeholders, because I couldn't agree more that some of this is somewhat non-negotiable. When we think about that term, high quality instructional materials, it's clearly defined. And the space that we have to be listening to our stakeholders are these other places around that engagement and that space of like matching sort of the pedagogy, how we're teaching it. But Joshua, I don't want to misspeak. If there's other pieces you'd like to add into that, please do.
Got nothing to add.
Commissioner Reed, I hope that provides the answer, or if there's more you need, please let us know.
Yeah, I mean, you can send me something offline, but I'd like to know what the non-negotiables are.
Yep. Got it.
Okay. Thanks, Commissioner Reed.
Thank you.
I would just echo with Commissioner Reed in the time that interaction with the public, if we could try to really define the acronyms. I know, coming from the school system, I understand we say them a lot, but it is a little confusing, I think. And then when we're saying that there's new curriculum that came from the state, it might be good as just some background for folks to understand what that means. And my question is really around, I guess, sort of the implementation. It sounds like the timeline is to have the high school curriculum in place for next school year. And since currently it's moving to a full credit, does that mean that it will be a year-long class, or is this being considered two different classes? How will that work? That's my biggest question. And then I didn't really see it specifically, but does that mean then that the K-8 is a year out in terms of when we are looking at implementation?
So answer the second question first. Yes, we're doing high school first with the goal of having that in place for the 2022-2023 school year. And then we're hoping to do K-8 for the following year. And then I just lost your first question. Would you mind repeating that again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, no, it was just the fact that we're moving from what was previously a half a credit towards high school for graduation to a full credit. Does that equate to just a class that is now a year long versus a one semester class? So how does that how will that impact scheduling for high schoolers? That's all. That's really what I'm asking.
So that's an excellent question. The impact is going to be significant. The state is not intending for us to have a single credit course. They were really trying to encourage us to do 2 half-credit courses, but they're not requiring us to do 2 half-credit courses. So we have some flexibility there. But the part of the idea was to have more time for students to do health, but also for them to have an opportunity in the beginning of high school and later on in high school, because kids are at different places. And so we're recommending having one course that's offered in 9th or 10th grade and then one in 11th or 12th grade. And so our current course is still a half-credit course being offered to 9th and 10th graders. And then we're going to be adding a second half-credit course for 11th and 12th graders. But if there's a unique scheduling situation with students in career programs, et cetera, where they have to take it as a 1 credit course in 1 year, that is possible.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I don't see those were the main questions that I had. Thank you so much. Look forward to hopefully I guess we can join one of the groups in terms of review and looking at the actual materials that you are going to be considering.
Certainly, we can make sure to invite you guys.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think it would be good for us to take a look at and for some of us to have a chance to see it at this end. And again, just to highlight that you said that we'll be voting on this adoption in April. So it's a pretty quick timeline. I'm still, okay, I guess we'll move right along. Commissioner Reed, did you have any additional questions or comments before we?
Lady Chair, no, I'm fine, please. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All righty. That was the only presentation, or was there another? All righty. Then the other portion of our meeting was a set of procurements.
Yes. Good afternoon. Dan Coleman, Director of Procurement. We have 3 items today. Our first item is in Fine Arts Program, Extended Learning Science. The vendor is Media Rhythm Institute, LLC. The Chief Academic Officer and Executive Director of Teaching and Learning requests the board's approval for a contract with Media Rhythm Institutes, LLC, MRI, to provide supplemental fine arts programming, including visual and media arts. The contract term is from February 9th, 2022 through February 8th, 2025. The estimated annual amount of the contract is $1.5 million.
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Yeah, go right ahead.
I just have one question. My question is, can you give me a little bit more, I guess, in terms of background on who MRI is, what they do, why we like them so much? And also, you mentioned they also mentioned in the write-up, Excellence and Ambition, Inc. That was also mentioned as a partner. And who are they and what do they do? I'm not too conversant in the arts, so that's why I need to be educated a little bit.
Good afternoon. My name is Josh Bailey. I'm the Director of Operations for the Office of Teaching and Learning and the author of this procurement request. So Media Rhythm Institute would be a newer vendor. I believe they have a partnership at maybe one school, but the purpose of this procurement request is to open up the opportunity for other schools to raise that spending limit. The intricacies of their program are more focused on recording media. So they do a lot of visual recording, sound booth recording, and recording of music. So it's sort of a more technical side of the fine arts. Again, they're not super well known in the district yet because they're a newer vendor, but they applied through the PQS last season, and this is the result of their application. Commissioner Reed, does that answer your question or additional information? Sir, we can't hear you right now.
I did turn. Also said they had a relationship with the Excellence and Ambition Inc. What's the
I apologize for missing that. I believe that's a subcontractor. I can confirm with you all and get that answer to the board. I believe it's a sub, but I need to double check and I can get you all an answer.
Thank you. And the schools decide where they're going to spend some of this money, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what kind of schools are participating? Mostly high schools, or?
So it would be open to any school that would be interested in the service. I believe their specialty is more in younger grades, but don't quote me on that. But it could be open to any school in the district.
Okay. Because I thought it said something about rap music. That's why I asked. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And it is interesting because in a lot of our new 21st century schools, we're seeing studios that are available. So this is probably an opportunity for folks to use that part of the facility better. So great. Okay. I don't have questions on that one, so we'll move on to the next one.
The next item for consideration is a contract with Coppin State University. The Chief Academic Officer requests the board's approval to contract with Coppin State University to support in-person graduation. Coppin State will provide facility rental and all related equipment for implementation of in-person graduation at the Physical Education Complex and the James Weldon Johnson Auditorium over the course of 8 days. The total cost of the contract is $162,886. The contract term is from February 9th, 2022 through June 30th, 2022.
I'm fine. No questions here.
Right. No questions here either. I do just my own observation that last year, despite the problems that we had, and the concerns with COVID, it did help, I believe, personally, to have our graduations in one location. And so, the Coppin location is an excellent one. So sounds good to me. Okay. I guess I do have one slight question because we do have sometimes a graduation at the end of the summer. And if this is ending June 30th, what does that mean for that particular ceremony?
Yep, no, that's a great question. And I will certainly confirm with our Director of College Readiness, Mavis Jackson. My understanding is the summer graduation we will be able to do internally at one of our internal sites versus needing to have an outside vendor given the size. But I will certainly, Chair Cheney, I will go back and get that detail for you.
Okay, thank you. Thank
Yep.
you. All righty.
Okay.
Ready for
Our
the
final item is graduation printing and supplies. Chief Academic Officer requested the board's approval for competitive solicited contract with Uptown Press, Inc. and Herff Jones, LLC to provide graduation printing and supplies. The estimate annual amount is $318,000. The term of the contract is from February 9th, 2022 through February 8th, 2023 with 2 one-year renewal options.
No questions here, Madam Chair.
Same here. Thank you.
Thank you.
I am still looking for, I don't see him yet. I think he's probably being held up at his school. So I will just thank everyone for the presentation today, and a reminder that, you know, if you see the schedule of the times where you can interact with staff and the materials around health and PE for the curriculum adoption, materials adoption, please take advantage of that. This committee will meet again on March the 1st, and our agenda for that meeting will be the art secondary education work, and I'm going to talk about summer 2022 plans. I would be remiss knowing how our chair for our committee highlights things that are happening, not to say that today is February 1st, and so it is the first day of Black History Month, and we want to acknowledge that, although many of us know and believe that, you know, Black history is history, so that it is 365 days a year, but it is good to have a month to really highlight that. So we will look forward to what happens within our schools, as well as central office and other places around the city, as we remember the accomplishments of Black Americans to the history of the United States. I do not see additional things that we need to do. Commissioner Reed, is there anything that you want to share?
No, it's a hard and fast meeting. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we may have set a record here. I'm not certain. Maybe this makes up for the 11:10 last public meeting.
Yeah, we may get in trouble later.
We do have. I do need to check to see if we have anyone who signed up for public comment.
Right.
I'm sorry.
No, there were no individuals signed up for public comment today.
Okay, so then I want to say to the staff, to folks who have joined us today, thank you for being with us, and have a great week. Please stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you again when we meet on March the 1st, or if not, if you want to come sooner, to the next public meeting of the full board. Thank you, and this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.